Hello gracious ones, and welcome back to the channel. If you travel a lot, you will certainly be looking for ways to save money on transportation in the UK. And today, I welcome you to my class, and I'm going to be taking you through transportation 101. So today we do what? Simple ways you can save money on transportation in the UK. That's all I bring to you today. Stay good. Hello gracious ones, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm just going to be giving you some tips and ways you can save money on transportation in the UK. I'm sure we all need to save some money. Any money saved is applause. So without wasting much time, I'm going to delve straight into the points I have for you today. And I am grateful for all those who keep returning, all my returning subscribers. You guys are like the main thing, the best. And if you're new and you're seeing this face for the first time, my name is Grace, and I love my family to be as wide and gracious as family, so consider hitting the subscribe button and joining this wonderful family. The first on my list on ways in which you can save money on transportation in the UK is easy, simple: walk. By walking, you're going to save a lot of money, you know. And you know, the good thing about it is that you're not just saving money, you're also being fit. According to the American Heart Association, walking 30 minutes a day can help reduce the risk of heart attack and diseases. So you're saving money and you're keeping fit and you're staying healthy and taking care of your heart. So good. Number 2, use a bicycle. Yeah, you know that you if you live like if you live in a city whereby it's easy to cycle around, cycling is another way of keeping fit, and it's a good way to get around your city. And it's eco-friendly. You're not emitting greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, and you're helping save the world and the future of our children in this world. So you could consider using a bike. Number 3, you use a public transport system. Use of public transportation. Now, if you're not walking and cycling, the next way you could save money is public transportation, because it's cheaper than using or buying your own cars or using taxis. Far cheaper. So try to use things like buses, trains and trams instead of having to use your car or taxis. They are cheaper. Number 4 way of saving money is to use a rail card. I mentioned it in a couple of videos. Use a rail card. By the time you use a rail card, you have 1/3 of your train fare being taken off. So that's a good plus for you. Apologies for all the sound you're hearing. I'm in a particular location whereby I'm just beside the road, so cars are moving. You can't stop cars from moving. So yes, apologies for the sound in the background. Just take it as background music. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Number 5 on my list is use a bus pass. So if you are eligible to get a bus pass, be you a senior citizen or someone within 16 to 25 or even younger, you know, very young children can even have bus rides free, you know, below 4 years. So consider getting a bus pass if you are eligible for one and you use buses often. It will help you reduce the costs, the amount you need to pay while you take buses. Number 6, plan your journey in advance. When you plan your journey in advance, you're able to get cheaper prices of trains and buses, especially when you're taking the coaches. Those are the buses that travel long distances. You need to plan ahead, and that will always give you cheaper options, so explore that. Number 7, you consider part-time car ownership. So if you must use a car, or you need to use a car, because of course sometimes you cannot underestimate the flexibility using cars gives you, And these cars, you don't need this car for a long period. Let's say you just need it for a particular program or a particular job that maybe will just last for a span of maybe 1 week, and then you go back to your normal routine, which is a walking distance, or somewhere you could just take a bus, or somewhere you could even cycle to. Then by all means, please just go for the part-time car rentals. It's cheaper than owning a car that you wouldn't use as often as you should. Okay, next one will be carpool. You know, carpooling is a good way to save money. Let's say, for example, so by carpooling, it simply means two or more people gathering together to use one vehicle to a particular destination. So take for instance, you have 4 neighbors, or you're 4 in an environment working in the same organization, the same office. 4 of you have cars. Instead of 4 of you using your cars individually to go to work, one person could drive on a Monday and pick the whole 4 people, that's the remaining 3 people and his or herself, and then the next day another one could drive on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That way you split the bills, not just for the fuel but also for parking. So if you need to pay for parking lot, you end up having to pay parking just once in a week, as against paying parking 5 times a week. For example, let's say you work Monday to Thursday, okay, and Friday is flexible, or even if it's only you that has a car, not 4 of you having a car, and you bring everyone there. That way they can pay and you can split the bills within 4 people. It will always be cheaper than having to pay everything all by yourself. Another thing you should consider is, if you need to use a car often, you might not need to go for the part-time car rental. You can buy your own car, but consider buying a used car. It's always going to be cheaper than buying a brand new car. So that's another way to save costs. Number 10, buy a fuel efficient car. So if you don't want to buy a used car and you have sufficient funds to buy yourself a car, a worthy car, a car you want to own for a long period, a car you want to be proud of, please try to buy a car that is fuel efficient. That way you are saving money on fuel, and you also doing wonders to the environment by reducing your carbon footprint, lesser emissions to the atmosphere. You can also consider even buying, if you have much more money, you can consider buying electric cars. That way you're not emitting anything to the environment, and charging the electric cars, I believe, is far cheaper than having to pay for petrol. Okay, and you're also saving the world, saving the planet. There's also option of hybrid. I've seen a few cars, they use both fuel and electricity. So you just find a way to make it better for yourself, not paying for fuel, and helping the world become a better place. Number 11, use free parking spaces when you have that available, when they are available. There are places where you have things like the park and ride scheme, where you have somewhere a very large car park where you can park your car for free, and then use public transportation to move around the city center. So you can consider those options to save money instead of going to park in a parking lot where you have to pay. Number 12, avoid toll roads and congestion charges. So in the UK, there are roads, there are toll roads. By toll roads, I mean roads that you need to pay. They charge drivers a fee for using that road. Those are toll roads or tolls. For you to use that road, for your vehicle to pass through that road, you need to pay a certain fee. This fee usually ranges from my research, usually ranges from, say, £4 to like 15 to 20 pounds, depending on the vehicle size, the day of the week, the time of the day, and the particular toll you are passing, because some tolls in the UK are more expensive than the others. We have slightly over 20 tolls in the UK, Most of them are like bridges, crossing rivers and the rest. So consider using alternative routes where you don't have to pay for toll, or you know areas where you don't have much traffic congestion, because like in London there are areas where you have high congestion and then you have to pay for congestion charges and the likes. Why would you want to incur so much cost? So you could decide to avoid driving on those areas or those routes completely and use public transportation. Number 13 is use travel apps. So we have lots of travel apps that give you real traffic updates. They also give you the various prices of, you can compare fares, you can check the routes and the easiest way to go. So you could use this. They also give you cheaper options when you have their apps, because you can see and compare the fares and choose the best option, the cheapest price for the day. Number 14, you use what we call comparison sites or apps. What they do, they help you compare the fare for example, for car rental, for your train ride, for your bus. You compare different service providers. Okay, there's one, for example, there's Check My Bus. Check My Bus helps you to like check and compare prices for travels across the UK and even outside of the UK, Europe and a few other countries outside Europe. So it's not just peculiar to UK. So you can use it, check the bus fares. Sometimes you might check and see that, oh, a mega bus is cheaper for me, which is one of the coaches in the UK, than National Express, for example. Or National Express is cheaper for me for this trip. Or there's this particular deal, that is giving me 50% discount. And then you utilize the opportunity to go for a cheaper rate and enjoy your trip. Number 15, travel during off-peak periods. This one is a real game changer, if you ask me. I've used it a couple of times. There was a trip I made. The first time I made the trip, I spent close to £160, 160. And then another day, I had flexibility, because that day I had to go in the morning, work hours and the likes, because I really needed to be at the place I was going to as early as possible. Then another day I had this flexibility of time, so I decided to go for the off-peak time. Going by the off-peak time, I realized I saved much more than 50%, because I ended up paying for just slightly above £50 for that same trip. The trip I did £160 earlier on. So you cannot underestimate the power of using the off-peak periods to cut costs. So I would advise you check travel off-peak periods when you can, to reduce the cost of transportation. It does help. Number 16, reduce unnecessary trips. As in, why do you have to be walking up and down, going up and down? Sometimes sit down, rest, relax, watch TV in your house, read a book. You don't have to always move around. That's a very easy way of saving costs. Just stay in your house, because the moment you step out, if you are not going to be walking, I like to walk, stay at home. And then if you need to keep fit, take a 30 minutes brisk walk to wherever it is you need to go. Walk it out, keep fit. But that's really a vital point. If I should have been number 1. In a case where it is important for you not to move around that often, I would advise that you get a travel card if you travel on public transport regularly. So what this will do for you, to enable you to be able to travel on multiple mode of transport for a fixed price, instead of having to pay for individual tickets. So it saves you a lot of money. So probably you need to take a mega bus from one city to another city, and from there you take a train. So you have to buy your mega bus ticket, and then you buy your train ticket, and then you buy all those individual tickets. Will cost you much more, no matter what discounts you add to it. But when you buy it as a full package, bus, train, everything together through your travel card, it saves you a lot of money. Number 18, consider using local taxis instead of private hire taxis. Instead of having to like use, Uber, Taxify. So consider using the local taxis instead of hiring private taxis. And most times when I go to a new location, a new city or town here in the UK, I just pick when I get to the train station, when I highlight from the train, I just take the taxis, the train taxis, the taxis that stay at the train station there. I don't order for a taxi. And I realize that they are cheaper. Sometimes it's almost the same. So I'm like, okay, what's the essence of having to wait for a taxi to come pick me if it's the same? And for times where it's cheaper, I've gained on cash or monetary value. I've also gained time I would have used to wait. Okay. And number 19 will be when you're traveling for long distances, you consider using a coach. Okay, instead of train. It's cheaper than train. When I say coach, I mean buses. These are buses that go on long distances in the UK. So they are long distance buses. Using them is cheaper than using train or flights. Okay, so please consider that. Last but not the least, you can use the bike hiring schemes. You can also join a car sharing scheme, so you could just find out much about this if there is need for that. If you feel like there are many more ways you can do this, or there are other ways you've explored, please share with us in the comment section. I would love to read from you. Every single comment in the comment section, I read it, so please feel free to drop your comments. And even when I see it, I read it. Some other people also read it and learn from it. So let's just keep sharing information, because knowledge is power, and you need this information to keep forging ahead. Even the Bible says so. In Hosea chapter 4 verse 6, it says, "My people perish for lack of knowledge." So let's gain the knowledge, right knowledge, save money, and be happy. And that brings me to the end of today's video. Do not forget to subscribe, comment, like, share. I love you. Stay graceful. I'm gonna see you in my next video. That's where I wanted to shoot that video, right there on that board. But there was just too much shadow. I'm sure you saw it at the beginning. So I decided to be on the bed because it's better for me. It's just the window is in front, so I have more illumination. And yeah, I love you guys. Peace out.